Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the latest episode of Secret Invasion, Beloved. And I really enjoyed this one, even though it was on the shorter side of about 38 minutes or so. There's like 5 minutes in the end that was like just credits or whatnot. But I actually really enjoyed this one because it showcased more the characters. We got more information. We got some good action sequences that were informed by character and worked out pretty well. The main kind, we got more information on Fury and his wife and the understanding of why there's like two names for his wife, of Vara as her Skrull name and Priscilla as her human name. So I like that. The biggest kind of issue I had was at the beginning when it was kind of hard to see. We had almost another kind of thing of like, this is kind of dark. Not just literally the things going on, but like I almost can't tell what the fuck's going on. But what we see is we pick off where Gaia was pretty much murdered, but we see that before she was able to get into the captured scientist's head and was able to utilize the Super Skrull program, and she gave herself extremis powers, so she then heals and is like, alright, I'm not dead. So it's like, okay, you're smart. That's good. And at least you were able to think, okay, I shift down, I heal up. Now Gravik thinks I'm dead, so it's more for her to be able to be into the wind. Let's see here. Do we want to go with that, or do we want to go... So that sets that up that we'll get to later. We then also get Paris in 2012, pretty much the fallout of after the Avengers. We see Fury hooking up with Priscilla, and she's like, yeah, I figured that you'd be part of that. Having like the strong protect the weak, that there's threats out there in the universe, that he would assemble the Avengers like this, and that he's wondering what she's kind of reading. It's this one poet, and this then becomes the kind of whole thing of the title of Beloved, of how her favorite poem is this kind of short one from the dude who, Raymond Carver, I believe, and how it's framed between... as a conversation between a couple of this one call and answer of how you lived your life and wanting to be beloved on the beloved by the one that you hold dear, and also beloved of the earth and all that. And it was really kind of interesting, and it really set up their kind of dynamic. And I like this. It's cool to get other kind of information on Fury in between the kind of spots that we've seen him into the MCU up until this point. It's really good to kind of flesh that out. So, we then shift out. We see that Gaia reunites with Talos, and that she's like, he's congratulating her on figuring out how to get out of there and all that, and then Gaia pretty much hits him with the point-blank thing of, what is your plan here to get our people home? And the important thing is, I understand both sides here. Talos' idea is to stop the Skrull rebellion attack, and then to plead for amnesty with the president. And Gaia's like, this is a shitty kind of plan. And Talos brings up that they're the host rules and everything, you know what I mean? And I understand his side, but she wants to be able to be at home in her own skin and walk around as a Skrull, and that's valid. And she should be herself. And she's just kind of fed up with Talos at this point, and then kind of leaves, and he's just like, I understand. It is a hard situation to try and figure out where to get your home planet. Do you live on Earth? And how do you get that? So they're both at a kind of crossroads and a logistics kind of thing of like, is Earth their home? Should they find a new home? Because they want to live as Skrulls. Like, they don't want to be shapeshifted into humans all the time. And that's a valid thing. But then you don't go to the other extreme of Gravik and be like, let's just fucking murder all the humans and take the fucking planet. It's like, alright, then what happens when some other race, like, I don't know, maybe the creator, like, hey, fuck you assholes, comes and then just be like, does the same kind of thing to you because they want the planet and might equals right kind of shit. Those kind of scenarios. And I think that this was a nice, well done kind of showing both things of like, there's got to be a better plan. I understand being like, hey, this is their planet, but you should be able to live here as well as yourselves. So I did like showcasing that and having that kind of go about. Let's see. So then we see that Priscilla has gone to meet at the church, and we see Rhodes pretty much acting like the asshole that he has been throughout this entire kind of show, and pretty much telling her to go kill Fury. And he's like, no, the president didn't fire him. I fired his ass. And she's like, listen, he's old, he's exhausted, he's washed up, there's no need to kill him. And he's like, stop telling me the things you can't do, or I'm going to tell you what I will do, what I can do. And we see that Fury's listening in on this, and he's kind of just really shaken up by it. It's like, god damn it, like, he's bugged her, and that's the kind of thing that Fury does. He doesn't really trust that much, but granted, it's mainly on the people that he doesn't really trust. Like, he trusted Cap and Winter Soldier to be like, hey, shit's going down with Hydra. Cap was like, yeah, no more secrets and shit. And his Fury's trust in him was validated because he took down Hydra. Of course, with vast other kind of repercussions going on from that. But you see that he's like, god damn it. And then we see that Priscilla comes back, and she's wondering why he's not wearing his wedding ring, and that he says, oh, came in through the back door, must have slipped my mind, making tea for them. And then pretty much talking about her having a gun, pretty much getting ready to kill him. And then we get the information, like he asks why she chose this face. And the backstory for it is very good for me. In my opinion, I think they did it very well because it's interesting. These Skrulls are different than the ones that are doing the objectives of the Rebels, because the Rebels still need to keep their ones alive for their information. These Skrulls kind of picked targets almost like a vampire would or whatnot to like take their identity and then utilize themselves in like Fury's shadow network. She talks about how she found this woman with this heart condition, that she was going to die, and that she then revealed herself and made 3 promises: that she'd scatter her ashes at the sea, that she would act as the daughter to her parents, and that she would never hurt her lover, Fury. And it's like, huh, alright. And we see them pretty much get into a tense kind of standoff, and we hear shots, but then we see that they both missed on purpose. Fury's like, I don't know if this means we need to be divorced or need to renew our vows. And it's like, yeah, it's interesting that she's like, nope, I'm going to keep my promise, and I'm not going to do this. And he goes off, and she asks him the important question of, would you still have, like, married me or loved me if I didn't have this face? It's like, we see Fury walk off, then he comes back, he's like, I guess we'll never know. It's like, ooh, I didn't know if I would have liked him just, like, leaving it there, but I liked him saying, like, I guess we'll never know. It was just a nice kind of standoff of showing both of the characters of Fury not being the cold-blooded kind of ruthless asshole that we have seen him kind of portrayed before. He does have feelings, he does have emotions, and he can make different kind of decisions, rather being the ruthless, cold, calculating director of S.H.I.E.L.D. that he can be in the comics. Let's see. So, then we get an important kind of bit. We see that Gravik is also setting up his kind of attack plan, showing off that this should be like the Russians, and that his second in command is like, Gaia's not here. He's like, yeah, because I needed to figure out who the mole was, and I took care of the mole. It's like, you didn't really. So it'll be interesting to see how Gaia is utilized throughout this process. I mean, Gravik just fucking shot her ass. So, and Talos has given her a plan that she really can't get behind. So is she going to present some kind of third way kind of bit in this whole kind of scenario? And especially see how she kind of reacts to the information that happens at the end of this episode. So they're setting her up to make this like a Russian attack, and then we get the complete understanding and reveal that Rhodes has been replaced by a Skrull. I think it's a female Skrull that shapeshifts into him. She's like taking a shower, feeling her skin, and then she transforms into Rhodes. Comes out, we see Fury then talking to Rhodes. And the thing is, it makes sense because you might think that Fury's acting a little bit odd around Rhodes, but that's because he's testing. He's trying to figure out who this person is and what's going on. Now, granted, we've gotten things from Kevin Feige that Rhodes has been a Skrull longer than we thought, but I hope we don't go that route because it really will retcon and undo certain kind of things. Like, if we get to the point that it's revealed that this Skrull has been impersonating Rhodes since, I don't know, maybe even like Iron Man 2 or whatnot, that completely screws up all of the character moments between him and Tony, and especially the goodbye of Rhodes to Tony in Endgame. That shouldn't be touched. And I would definitely prefer that if anything, Rhodes was replaced by a Skrull by around Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay? That's an important kind of bit. That's a retcon thing that'll really... It cheapens that emotional kind of tribute and be like, why the fuck would a Skrull act like that towards Tony? I don't even know. We're not at that point yet. But I'm just saying, if it goes to that point, I am going to have severe fucking issues with what that would, do. Because I've been happy with this. I'm like, damn, this Rhodey's a fucking asshole. What the fuck's going on? It's like, they're a Skrull, and they're trying to be a complete asshole. It's like, motherfucker. So we see Fury bringing this really nice, fancy kind of bourbon and be like, hey, come on. And you could be like, why is Fury acting like this? Because he's trying to see how Rhodey talks and interacts with him. If Rhodey understands any of the kind of human interactions that Fury's trying to get out of this person. That's why he's doing it. But also because we learn later on that he's trying to get a liquid tracker into Rhodey. And it's like, nope, you know what? Because Fury's like, I can tell you that there's Skrulls in the US government. He's like, you know what? I got this thing about you shooting Maria Hill in Moscow. And I've got copies everywhere. And why don't you just fucking, go. Let me handle your fucking ass. Like, whatever, here's the boot. And he's like, I'm going to take this bottle because it's fire. It's like, all right. And we see that he did drink it. And Fury's pretty much like, Talos is like, ooh, liquid tracker. Very nice. So then we start moving towards the end game portion of the episode. We see that Rhodes starts talking with President Ritson, telling how Ritson should deal with the Russians. A Lenin quote of they'll be tough. If they encounter flesh, they push. If you encounter steel, you hold. Be steel to them. Ritson's like, are you drunk? Are you pre-gaming with bourbon? What the fuck? And then Rhodes is, Skrull Rhodes is like, what the fuck? Alright, whatever. And we see the one dude with the bandaged arm, and they start going, and then the Skrulls start launching their attack. And Rhodes is nonplussed. It's like, what the... anybody would be like, what the fuck? This person's like an Avenger. Why are they not going into their War Machine armor to protect the fucking president? You know? So, either they haven't gotten to the president yet, or they're like, fuck it, we could take down the president and have one of our agents inserted into this kind of thing. And of course, that still works within the kind of realm of introducing tensions between the world governments to get to Gravik's Zero Plan. So that way the Skrulls control Earth. And we see them going through. We see them attacking. We see that Fury and Talos pop up like, ah, shit, fuck. And we see them kind of get everything out of Fury's thing. It kind of reminded me of Supernatural with the Impala, with Baby in the back, where you'd open up the trunk and we get Fury. He's got him fucking mini rocket launcher or something. Yep, Fury's gotta have them rocket launchers. blasts out one of the helicopters and everything, uses a shotgun and starts tacticking up to help the people protecting the president, who his Citadel gets shot, but it's like upside down, and the president's still alive, but he's unconscious. So they're trying to get there. We see that Gravik understands that Fury's in the field, and we see that he is able to utilize another power, the Groot kind of tentacles kind of power, kind of similar to Reed Richards' stretching abilities. Gets a dude, kills him, and I understand, like, in this show, they've at least got a balance on what special effects they can use and in what quantities, and not going overboard. Like, it's an effective use of Gravik using his abilities without going overboard. He, like, uses it, kills him, kills this dude, random red shirt pretty much, but it shows that he has Extremis, he has Groots, he's probably got all 4 of those powers. We don't know how many Skrulls would be able to handle that many powers and abilities at once, but it's good for us to know, and it's a balance, because we don't need it to be too showy, but we need it to be enough to be like, hey, he's a tactical kind of threat. So we see that Talos and Fury get to the motorcade. They're trying to help out the people that are defending it, but we see that Talos gets shot, and he's trying to, like, break through the glass, and one of the soldiers is trying to, like, pretty much go at Talos, but he's wounded because he's shifting back and forth between his human face and his Skrull face, and Fury's like, he's with me, I'll fucking vouch for him, let him do his shit. He's able to get through and get the president out, and Fury kind of takes him off. We get a lot of, like, the gunfight and the gunplay, and the action works very well, because, and it's really weird because I like action movies a lot, and the thing is, good action movies should have clear action that showcases what the characters are doing, because you're not using dialogue at this point. You're using the characters' actions, and Talos being able to blast and bang into there while he's wounded. Gravik doing the tactical kind of stuff and making sure that it looks like the Russians are doing this in retaliation for what they had false flagged in Moscow. Fury squaring up with the soldiers, and the soldiers, like, following his ass because he's able to take command in the field. And fucking Skrull Road's just sitting like, I got this, but, like, not really. So he's able to get the president into his car that he's able to kind of call back up to him, but one of the soldiers was trying to take Talos with him to Fury's car. He's like, I said I'd be back for him. Put him down. But we see that it is Gravik, and then he stabs Talos. And that important bit is, Fury has some kind of relationship with Gravik. And here, in A Change from Moscow, he shoots his ass. Like, not just willy-nilly, fuckity-doo-dah, fuckity-day. He, like, goes for his head, and then we see that he starts healing with the Extremis. Fury's like, fuck. He sees that his friend is down, and he has a choice to make. He either gets the president out, or he goes back for his friend, and potentially other insanity can ensue. And instead, he leaves Talos there, and it looks like Talos is dead. And that made me sad. I'm like, they did a lot to make me interested in Talos' character, to like his character, even me agreeing in the spirit of his choices of trying to argue for amnesty from the President of the United States after trying to deal with the whole Skrull Rebellion. But that there are better ways to kind of go for that for his people. And then Fury drives off with the President, and that's where it ends. So we will have to see how this affects Gaia, if this puts her to be the opposite figurehead to Gravik, as Talos was, and try and rally other Skrulls to her cause to potentially do a kind of better kind of way of arguing for the governments of the world to admit the Skrulls onto planet Earth, allow them to live in their own skin, or potentially to help them with a plan to find a planet or whatnot. I don't know, maybe Danvers will pop up at a certain kind of point and have information on a planet for the Skrulls. There's a lot of different kind of possibilities, and it really sucked because I thought Gaia was pretty much toasted, and then they're able to showcase, yeah, she was smart enough to, like, try and fuck around and get at least the healing powers of the Extremis. don't. That would be a real kind of weird way if they're able to bring Talos back. But granted, comics resurrections pop up all the time. Characters coming back, changed, all different kind of things. But I think Talos is dead, and we'll have to see how that kind of affects the story, how that affects Fury, how that affects President Ritson, because he was attacked by Skrulls, but his life was saved by a Skrull. So hopefully he actually takes that into consideration and doesn't go completely hambo and say, fuck all the Skrulls, you know what I mean? Like, never go that route. Gravik's an asshole. He's tried to utilize all these different kind of Skrulls, but the thing is, it's a million of them, and they probably don't all agree. In fact, they don't, because one of the council members is like, fuck you assholes. So we'll have to see how this works out. This was a short one, but I think an effective one. I don't mind short episodes as long as they achieve their objectives, and I'm not like watching the time of like, this is either dragging out forever or this is so short, what the fuck were they thinking of just doing it this way? And this did a nice balance. I loved getting the character development of Fury and his wife. Like, it was done effectively, in my opinion, where we get more kind of background on them. We've seen it seeded out throughout this show, and seen how it affects Fury and his decisions. And seeing what she thinks as well, her being a player in the game of what could be going on, because now she's gone against Gravik and against Road Skrull. I'll have to come up with a better kind of thing. Or Scrody? No, that sounds like scrotum. Oh, God. Sorry, Scrody. I'm sorry that... Oh, God. Road Skrull. Scrodes. I'm sorry. Fuck. Scrodes it is. At least for the intents and purposes of this, until I like think of maybe a better one. Scrody? That's even Rhodey Skrull, or Skrull Rhodey would be like, I'm gonna kill that one. I'm gonna kill Priscilla. I'm gonna kill Vara. She didn't follow her orders and stuff, so it'll be interesting if she links up with Gaia and others and what could potentially happen with that. We've got 2 episodes left, and I'm interested to see where this is going to end and what the fallout is going to be for the MCU. I've really been enjoying this one so far. It seems more focused, more understanding of the story that it wants to tell, and of the effects and everything that need to be used to tell that story. And I hope that it can stick the landing on this one. Yeah. So, those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.